This is the event we're gonna open the season 2 with. I hope you guys are excited because we are very, very excited for this second season. Today, the training is going to be about learning versus knowing. Okay, what's the difference between learning something and knowing something? Okay, it's two different things, and we're gonna break it down today.
Okay, to start off, you guys know we love polls. So we put a little poll for you guys that you can answer. And the question of today is, what is the best way to learn new information? So we got reading, we got writing, we got listening, or we got experience. What do you guys think is the best way to learn? So the right answer was experience. The question is why? Why is it that it's experience and not reading or writing or listening, for example? That's what you guys are going to learn in this training.
So there's basically three levels of learning. Okay, the first stage you go through is the passive learning. It's basically when you consume, you just consume information. Okay, you just reading a book, watching a video, maybe you're just talking with someone, maybe you're just listening to an audiobook. I don't know, but you're just consuming information. So it comes to you. Okay, you don't proactively use it. So that's the first stage you go through. Okay, the second stage you go through is active learning, is when you make the transition from consuming the information to being proactive with it, actually try and implement that, or try to make a process out of it to get the learnings from it. Okay, it's great to have the information, but the second stage is where you actually go ahead and learn. Okay, and then the last step is the effective way of learning. So it's basically where you have all the pieces in place to when you have all the pieces in place to effectively get from having the information to getting you to a result. Okay, so that's the three stages of learning.
So a lot of us has have been taught by school that learning means reading books, watching a video, writing, listening. But we are here to tell you that this belief that you have, like that this is learning, that it's not actually learning. All of these methods is just like a way that we have been taught to get you guys informed. That means to get you to know things. And it's not like it's important still to know things and be informed, but it's only the first step to a learning process. And today we are here to tell you about the second step. So actually learning. What is learning? How to learn. So for example, for example, I think you had an example or not?
Yeah, for example, there's someone that commented, I think maybe you are here with us today. I don't know, but someone commented on one of the school a school post, and I shared. Let me share it with you so it's easier. So this is the example I took because it was really like it's self-explanatory. Okay, so I basically posted I watched a video going through my classes from uni, and the video was talking about behaviors, how we can change behaviors, and how teachers and parents taught us things the wrong way, quote unquote. Okay, and here in this video she basically says that people resonate more with the positive ways of learning than the negative way. So when someone does something, telling him to that okay, something wrong will happen to them, or that they are not doing right and things like that, or basically punishing them, is not as effective as taking the positive route. Okay, so being like, oh, I didn't think you was like that, you was this type of person, I thought you was better than this. See, things like that, because it really touches people. And then here, then he commented, oh, I never thought of it this way. But then I was like, okay, it's great that now you have the information, but what what will this change about your behavior from now on? Now that you have this information, what do you do with it? Okay. And it's this is a pure example of getting the information, but also thinking, okay, now I have the information, what do I do with this? So that was the example I had for you guys. So let's go back into the slides. I hope that was clear. Hope it was clear. Okay, so now after the passive learning, we have the active learning. Okay, and the active learning, there's three stages to it. There's the first stage we see, which is getting quality information. Because yes, knowing things. So the passive is important, but v- is important when you do it the right way. Okay, passive learning, basically getting information when you have quality, when you have access to quality information, is the beginning of the effective learning process. Okay, and so this is stage one, getting quality information and trying to get quality information as much as you can, as often as possible. Okay, the second stage is the hardest to do. This is where most people get stuck at. It is changing your behavior. Okay, when you have access to great information, it won't change anything to your life if you don't take action in the real world. Okay, in real life, because you have it in your head, but in order for things to materialize, things to become true, things to become part of your reality, you have to change your behavior and take actions. Okay, and it's hard for a lot of people because you have to accept that it won't be easy. You have to accept that um you need to embrace failures, because also it's not because you take actions once that it will automatically work. Okay, and people have a lot of biases that prevents them, that makes it hard for them to take action, and this is a crucial part. Okay, very crucial part. And the last one is just assessing the results from the actions you took. You need to also take actions for a long period of time to actually be able to have a how to measure and assess properly, if the actions and the information and the actions you took were right. And so the first stage is to assess and repeat the cycle. Okay, if through the assessment you saw that, okay, I did, the results that I wanted are good. This is by taking those actions I got the results that I wanted. You keep doing that. If you see that, okay, by taking these actions I don't really have the result that I want, okay, but I've given enough time, um I've took enough actions to be able to measure it, then you can go ahead and get new information, take new actions, and then keep on going, on these cycles, on these stages, through those stages. What is effective learning? Effective learning, and we talked about this in the webinar. Effective learning is the combination of both, of the stage one and stage two, but both gotta happen. One without the other, it doesn't make it effective. Okay, and so here, like I said, quality information is very important. But to get quality information, there's a lot of things you need to go through. You need to first evaluate the source. So where do you get your information? Okay, does the information come from, so the person that you get the information from, okay, does what he's telling you come from experience, or is he just a curator? So meaning a curator is just basically something that takes information from a lot of different places and the best um, bring every all the information together in one place. Okay, you basically synthesize everything, and you need to if, okay, this is from experience or he's creating the information that he's giving you. And you also need to know what is the source that this person is using. Okay, because whatever we are saying to you, we didn't create it. Like it came from somewhere. Okay. And if all source are um, reliable sources, then what we are sharing is also reliable by default, if that makes sense. Second part is the evaluate the intentions of the person that is giving you the information, because someone we can be sometimes we can be consuming great information, but we don't see that behind the information that we are getting, there's the person giving us the information has different intentions for us. So let me give you an example. When you are consuming um ads or like content online, sometimes you can tell that the person is just giving you the information to have you buy something, or to just get you to take actions that you don't necessarily need to take and that are not necessarily great for you. So let's say, for example, if you go on YouTube and you type what is the best way to make money, you're gonna see thousands, millions of people talking about different kind of business models, but all of them are trying to convince you that their business model is the best. Why? Because they have different intentions. You are looking for your best way to make money. Okay, they are telling you their way of making money so that you can buy something from them. Okay, so this is very important to also know what is the intentions um, of the person that you get the informations from. The third thing is you need to check if the information that you're getting is relevant to your goal, to the goal that you have. Okay, does me consuming this information will help me in my goal? If not, does it really make sense for me to even consume the content? Or if it doesn't, if it's not something that helps me get to a certain place that I want to go, I have to know that. So I can be consuming content just, but purposefully know that it's not going to help me, but I just still want to consume it. Okay. That's okay too. But you need to be aware of that. Okay. And when you consume something that actually help you get to a certain goal, you also need to to be aware of that so you can actually transition from getting the quality information to changing the behavior is really important, because if you don't assess all of those things, okay, the three things that I talked about, you might take and change your behavior but the wrong way, so let's go back to the example I gave you about the business model. Okay, if you get quality information, everything they are saying online about business model, about their business model, is probably right. Okay, but if you go and you don't assess, you don't know what your goal is, where you're trying to get to, you will take different actions, try a lot of different things, will take actions, yes, but is it the right actions to take? We don't know. Okay, and you don't know until you know what your goal is first. Okay, the second thing is changing your behavior. This is very important, like we talked about, is what prevents most people from actually getting to that stage of effective learning. Changing behavior is hard. Okay, there's people that study that. Is for a reason. Okay, it's not easy, and we have a lot of bias. We have a lot of things that prevent us from um, taking actions, from doing different things than what we used to. Okay, that's why these three steps are important. Okay, to start small, accept failure, and keep trying. And so we go into um a bit more details over there. So yeah, this is effective learning. Please, we talked about that last time on the webinar, but have keep this formula in mind: quality information plus change of behavior. Every single time you consume information, think of the second as well.
Okay, now that you guys know what effective learning is, the only question is how. How can we all become great at learning and become a great student? The answer to that is actually higher your ability to learn and become a great student. So higher ability to learn. Why is that so important? Why should we all aim to higher our abilities to learn? It's because we believe that being a great student means that whatever room you enter, whatever conversation you enter, whatever video you watch, you can only learn. So you go into that conversation, you go into that room, you go into that video thinking, I'm going to get something out of it. And when you get something out of it, you constantly learn new things and you become better and more informed. And if you change, you do something with it, you then come into the process of effective learning, and you can only go into the best version of yourself with that. And that's the goal. The goal of the path to greatness is becoming the best version of yourself. And to do that, hiring your ability to learn is really key in whatever stage of life you are at. So I'll let Kevin introduce. Um,
Yeah, like she said, it's very, very important. So much so that that's the only reason why we decided to start with this training today. Because if you know and you hire your ability to learn, everything that is going to come after, you will know and be equipped well enough to use it to the best of your abilities. Okay. So there's three stages to higher your ability to learn. There's problem solving, okay, and there's questions below that. It's questions to make you think. Ask yourself those questions while I go through these, okay? Problem solving. Are you being creative enough? Sometimes we think that something that is happening to us is is just something that is happening to us, but we need to reframe it. Once you reframe some an event, or yeah, an event that is happening to us as a problem to solve, it actually shift our perspective. Because when you have problems to solve in school, do you get emotional? Do you get do you get consumed by your emotions, or do you try to think logically, things like that? Okay, reframing the events and the things that we go through as, if you're not happy with something, it is a problem to solve. Therefore, you can make it, you can use a logical process to it. You can have a process to it. It's not just something that is happening to you and you just out here, you don't know what to do. When you know that, okay, this is a problem, therefore I need to solve it, and there's a process for me to solve it, then the emotions goes away a little bit, and you are able to like focus on the things you need to do. Okay. The second stage is being coachable. Ask yourself these questions as well. Are you willing to question your beliefs? And how far are you willing to question those beliefs? We all have beliefs, things that we believe are true, but we to be coachable, it means to be able to like in yourself know that you have things that you believe that might be wrong, and is to accept that, to change them. And how far are you able to do it? Okay, it's painful. I can assess this. Sometimes it's painful, but it needs to happen in order to grow. Are you also transforming the information? Are you transforming the information that you get into a learning process? Like we said, you need to have quality information, but to really learn from it, you need to have a process. How do you transition from having a quality information and from applying to your life? You need to have that. Ask yourself those questions too. The last one is decision making. Are you being rational? That's why we talked about problem solving, because once you shift the frame into which you put an event that's happening to you that's maybe bad, or like situations that you are, things like that, once you reframe it, you start to become a little bit more rational. Okay. And it's an important question. When you take decisions, are you emotional or rational? You can be emotional, you can be both, but you need to be aware of it. Am I taking this decision out of emotions, or is it a rational decision? Okay. We're not saying here that you only need to be rational. Okay. You need to just be aware. And the last question is, do you have your priorities in order? Okay, it's an important thing. It's very important, because once you have your priorities in order, you make better decisions, and you make it um, with less, you it's easier for you to make good decisions, because you know, okay, this is my priority, this is the second one, and that's the lens which through which I take my decisions. Okay, so all of these are questions you should ask yourself in order to know how you can higher your ability to learn.
Okay, so first thing is solving problems. To find solutions, you need to be creative or have the mindset to think far, because many of us are taught to think just intellectual. Like when you have a test, like you have to find the solution of the question that is asked. You find the solution, and that's it. But we really want you guys to think out of the box. So I'll give you guys an example. If I want to build a website, for example, for my business, the most evident solution is to learn how to build a website. But you can also find someone and pay them to build your website. Or you can actually rethink, like, is it actually necessary for me to build a website? Or can I do something else? Or can I even let an AI build my website maybe? There are so much things that are giving to us today that we didn't have back then. And it's important to use every single tool you have instead of just going with the straightforward answer. Like, really think out of the box. So the first and most important thing is activate your creative brain instead of just using your intellectual brain. The second thing he talked about was to be coachable. So to higher your ability to learn, you have to be more coachable. And how can you become more coachable? The first thing is to be open-minded. It's important to put your beliefs aside for a second and just take in the information that is given to you. Second thing is you have to be willing to question your beliefs, because when you learn something, you either learn something that you didn't know yet, or you learn something by changing your mind on something because you realize that what you thought was true was actually wrong. Many people stay stuck in this phase because of their ego, because you might think you're right now, but then if you're not open, or yeah, if you're not open to changing your belief, then you will always stay stuck in this phase. So you need to put your ego aside and be willing to change your belief. The third thing is to apply deliberate practice. Deliberate practice is actually strengthening the link between what you say, between the information you're getting, and turning it into a learning process. If you don't put in place ways to apply the things that you learn into your life, your brain right now might be like a strainer. I don't know if you guys know what a strainer is, but a strainer is, but it's like when you have, like, for example, you have pasta and then you put the water into the strainer, and then all the water comes out, and then you have the pasta left. If you don't do anything with what you learn, that is the information just go down the strainer. So deliberate practice is very, very important to detach yourself from getting new information and actually putting it into practice. um, the last thing is then shift your identity. I'll give you guys an example so it will be more clear. You want to become disciplined, for example, because we have like a lot of people in the group that said, "Oh, I want to become more disciplined and everything." The key to becoming more disciplined is, first of all, yes, you get the information. How can I do that? This and that. But at some point, you have to stop to get the information as just a concept of being disciplined, and just start doing the same things as someone that is disciplined does. Because you have that when you have the things, when you have the principles and you actually do them, you become someone that is disciplined. And just doing it one time, becoming disciplined in like one thing or one area of your life, makes you a person that is disciplined. And then when you have that skill, you can already put that in place in different aspects of your life. So if, for example, I choose to be disciplined with the gym, so I go constantly, I go consistently. If even when don't feel good, even if I don't want to, I just go and I show up for myself. I will train that skill, and that skill I can take that skill and also put it into, for example, schoolwork, or just job in general, or my project, or whatever. So it's important to shift your identity and thinking, I'm going to do the things that I say I will do, instead of just saying I will do things. Actually take the actions and do them.
Yes. So after, you know, how to solve problems and how to be coachable, the last thing is how to make the right decisions. Okay. And as the other ones, this one is very, very important. And there's three steps that we personally use. And I'm going to explain what this is in a second. But to make better decisions, you need to assess how do you use your time. Okay. Because if you when you know when you have your priorities right, okay, that's the first step actually, is to have your priorities right. Once you have your priorities right, you need to assess, okay, how do I use my time? You have to use it intentionally, because if you don't assess how you use your time, someone will use your time on your behalf, because you didn't make it, you didn't use it intentionally. Therefore your time will be used by someone else. Okay. The second thing is really try to think long term. When you take a decision, think long term. Is this decision um will help me in the long run? Will future me approve of this decision? Will um when you shift your mindset and you really think like, when you make decisions, important decisions, is it going to help me long term? It helps you avoid all the a lot of quick decisions that we make that are not necessarily going to benefit us in the long term. But you need to also be aware of that, and you have to do it intentionally. Okay. The thing that I want to add with that, with the long term thinking process, is yes, when we take a decisions, when we take decisions, there's an immediate consequence. Okay. So let's say um that you eat too much, let's say you eat too much chocolate. The immediate consequence is that you're gonna feel better right now. Okay. The next consequence will be that, okay, maybe because you had too much sugar, now you're gonna feel tired. But there's a lot of this, there's a lot of other consequences that happen, and we usually don't think of them. There's the, we call it the second order consequences. Okay, I've heard that somewhere, where someone was talking about how video games, when playing a lot of video games, yes, the first order consequence now that you have is, yes, you play in video games, so you spend all your time in front of a screen, you don't exercise, you don't go to work, whatever, if it's too much. But the other consequences that come after is you never get to, maybe you have dreams to, travel, make money, things like that. When you look at on a long enough time horizon, so a long enough time spent um on a large scale, everything that will happen to you in a years, I'm talking years or decades, every single thing can be everything start with the decisions that you can make today. Okay. So, and all that comes from, all that are second order consequences. Okay. So because you play too much video games, therefore you don't have enough time or enough energy to go work, therefore you don't make enough money, therefore I don't know, maybe you have a girlfriend, and that girlfriend leaves you, therefore you become depressed, and therefore, and all that is decisions that we is consequences that we don't think about when we make a decision. Okay. At first, the first thing you wanted to do was just play video games, and then you started playing too much video games, and then things went down from that. But the single little decisions was just playing too much video game. Okay. Am I is it clear, or should I maybe reframe it?
I think it's clear. I don't know.
I hope it's clear, because it's very important. We sometimes don't think about other like second order consequences, and they are very, very powerful. Okay, and I can take the other. Okay, perfect. I can take the other way around. Now, instead of having taking a bad decisions, let's say now you start reading books. Okay, because you read a book, tomorrow you won't be a millionaire. Okay, but because you read books, you started reading one book, you finished it. Now you feel like, okay, now I can read and finish a book. Now you get into other one. You're getting information. Okay. Now you know that having quality information need also to go along. You need to take better decisions. You need to change your behavior. Okay. You change your behavior. You start applying things that you read in books. Okay. And fast forward 10 years, now you are a millionaire, or you have the dream, your dream job, or you have your dream body, or you have whatever, anything that you always wanted. But the first single decisions that you took was read a book. Okay. And we can think that, it's maybe just a book, like it's important. All of that are second order consequences. Okay. And by the time you are already successful, you forgot what got you there. You have forgot what got you there, because now you think that, it's the decision I made last month when I decided to hire this new person. Yes, maybe that decision haven't had an impact now, but you also have to realize that it will have a bigger impact later. Okay, so reading books, getting information, getting quality information, even though things don't manifest themselves right now, the consequences that will come from those things are they will be positive consequences. And further down the line, you will see we will see the so it basically goes like this. So you learn, and then you start a little bit going like this, and then at the end you start to peak. So that's what second order consequences are, and it's very important. And now the last part is to make great decisions. Now that you have a lot of information about making decisions, you can be like, okay, well, when I take a decision, now I need to assess, I need to think for 10 years before I make one this decision. No, you need to have that in mind, yes, but don't forget that taking a decision, even if it's quote unquote wrong, is better than not taking a decision at all. Okay. And when you have that, how do we call it, it's thinking paralysis, like when you are paralyzed by options, or like you think too much and you can't take action. Just think of taking the correct directional decisions. Okay, don't think of the perfect decision, think of the correct. Is this decisions, um does this decision align with where I'm trying to go? Is this in the correct lane? Okay, even if you're not sure that this decision, or you don't know if we will never know if that decision was the perfect decision, but if it's um if you're going on the right path. Okay, and that's what you need to look at. So here so it's basically something I did a few years, maybe I don't remember exactly when that was, but basically it came from a video, so it came from me consuming quality information. But I've made a checklist for myself to help me take decisions. Okay, and this is what we try to highlight for you guys. I can maybe show you later on my phone how it looks like, because this is an example for it to be visual. But there's questions that I ask myself before I take a big decision. Okay, let's go over them together, but you will need to implement that and make the questions align with what you value and things like that. Okay, this might give you ideas, but you need to do one for yourself. Okay, when I take a decision, this is the questions that I ask myself. Does it excite me? If I say yes, then it's good. If the answer that I'm giving to myself is no, then you already know that it's maybe not a great decision to make. Okay. Do I earn or give up money? Is also an important question to ask. Wh- what will um what will I have to give up for this? Because when we take a decision, we can go so much, you can go so deep. There's opportunity cost. So when you take a decision, you also giving up something. For example, when you have um an event to attend, let's say that you want to read a book, or people are telling you to, oh no, come and hang out with us, we're going out. Okay, either, no matter the decision that you're going to take, you're going to give up something. Okay, and even if you think that there, you only, if you go out, you only giving up the book, it's not true. You're also giving up other things, which is all other consequences. You're giving up sleep, you're giving up other things, and you have to think about, what do I give up by taking this decision? It's an important question to ask, I believe. The other one is, does he make sense long term? We've talked about this already. Does it impact someone else? Okay, when you take a huge decision, you have to think, okay, there's me involved, but there might be someone else involved. Okay, if that impacts someone else, is it a good decision to make or not? There you assess from there. And then with all of this, I think that should be, that's the last question. You basically ask yourself, okay, is this worth it? um Another question you can ask is, will I regret not doing it? Because sometimes we want to take a decision, but because we have that fear, that is like, okay, um the fear that is trying to like protect us and make us stay in our comfort zone. Let's say I had that happen to me last year when I wanted to invest in a course. I never invested in a program before, or a course, or any community before. And then we went with the community at an event, and at the end of the event, the guy that presented the event, and think the guy that presented the event pitched a community and a course and things like that. And I was like, I feel like I want to do it, but I'm scared because I also had that belief, like biases, that why do I need to go to courses? I can find the information for free on the internet. I don't need, I don't need that. Like, I can do it by myself, things like that. And I was aware that I had those biases. I was aware that it was a way for me to take, to not take the decision and to stay comfortable. And when he pitched that, I instantly catch myself, and I was like, no, even if I think I don't need that, I feel like this is the time I should invest in it. And because he talked about, like, at the event, they talked about like being well surrounded, having the right proximities, things like that, like meeting great people. He talked about how all of that changed his life, and I was like, okay, why do I'm not happy where I am right now, and I want to progress. And that fear that I have is maybe the single reason why I should act. Okay, because I can regret it later if I don't do it today. Okay, and then also it was a bit pricey, so it was like around 300 euros per month. So, there was a lot of things not going my way, basically, but it's because I had that fear that I took decisions. Okay, so this is also an important question to ask yourself. And the last one is, what is the alternative? Sephora talked about how you want, let's say you want to build a website. The first thing you think about, like she said, is, okay, let me learn how to build a website. But by making this decision, is just take the, like she said again, the obvious answer, when you can be creative and think of better alternatives. So please make a checklist for yourself. Let me try to find it on my phone real quick. Can you guys see it?
It's also on the Google Doc. If you can just put it on the Google Doc, it's maybe easier.
Yeah, but the Google Doc won't be available right now, so I'm just just want
Okay.
to see it. So basically, the note is called "Should I say yes?" Okay, and at first you can have a note like that, and then when you have to take a big decision, you go over it, and then you ask yourself those questions. At at the more you do it, the more it will become automatic, and you won't need to go through that to those notes again. Like I don't personally go through them um all the time. So yeah, I think it's time for the questions.
Yes, it's time for the Q&A. The training is basically over. Now it's just like you guys' question. We already saw one question. Jolie asked, some people take decision and they give up without reaching their focus. So what can you advise them? But I think it's like you said, it's not about the decision, it's about the direction. So even if you took a decision and it didn't like you didn't get the thing that you wanted, have you moved more towards where you were heading to? Yes, normally. That's more important than getting the actual thing. It's gotten you at least a step closer normally if you make the right decision, like looking, okay, I want to go in this direction. So normally you should be a step closer. So
Yeah. And even if you take the wrong decision, there's always a way to learn from that. And you will not take like great decisions all the time. Like you won't be like perfect. You will need to learn from the bad decisions that you take, the mistakes and then things that happen. Okay, sometimes there's things that we can't control. But as long as you have that in mind, like she said, am I getting ahead in the direction that I want to take? If the answer is yes, then you are in the good. Okay. If the answer is no, maybe you have to reassess. Okay, because when you are focused and you have your priorities right, you will have so much. I've read that. I think it was it was in one of the daily prayers that I read. It was like basically we have attack on our energy and time all the time, like every day, every single day. There's distractions that come to us and try to like um take away our focus. Okay, there's people that have other plans for our life than what we have. Okay, and it's when you have your priorities right, you also need to recognize that and you know go through what is directionally right for you. Okay, there's other questions coming in.
yes, I hope that was clear for you, Julie. The second question of Sonia is, how can a person prioritize their plans effectively? I mean, when you do have many things. I think that's all about organization. I made like a thing that can help you know what action to take when. Like you need to think about what's more urgent. You need to think about what's important to me now. What is the goal that I have right? Like what is my closest goal? It's like it's a list of things that will help you make like the right decision and like prioritize. I can maybe send it in the group. It can maybe help you guys.
Yeah, I think he came from a training that we did last year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we can maybe do that, and we can also redo a training on that eventually.
Hmm. Yeah, we can
But
do
yeah,
that.
I think there's process that you can use to like prioritize, but I think the first step is having a big enough vision to where like okay, this is where I'm going to and this is the steps I need to take. And once you have a big enough vision, something that really excites you, you are okay with letting other things go. Because being overloaded and having a lot of things will hinder your progress. So for me, if I, for example, I have in mind, okay, this is PTG. So this is PTG community. Do we want to build the schools, things like that, and I have the PTG performance. I want both to be in sync. The PTG is the main thing. If I have other goals. I want to, you know, I want to be a better athlete. I want to, learn other skills, things like that. Because I have that big enough vision, if I have to make the decision, okay, am I going? Do I have? So let's say I had this training today, and I had to prepare for it, but I had also something coming up for training for basketball or other things. I will be okay giving up the basketball thing for this, because I know this is the vision. This is more important than what I have. Than the things that are also important. Yes, but they are important. Um, they have different it's this different levels of important, if that makes sense. So yeah, but the things so far I talked about will definitely help you, but the first thing is really having a clear vision of what you want.
And then Julie asked, one thing is this, many people we make decisions according to the situations we are in without thinking about the next. So the question is this, we have to take decisions according to the situation or according to the future.
I think that when you make a decision from the situation you are in, it's really like let's say you need to get out of a situation, but I personally, that's my take on it. Don't just say that it's I'm not saying that this is the truth, but I will personally take the decision according to the future. But thinking always, like we said, thinking always directionally, because you can take a lot of decision for you can take decisions according to the situation you are in, but they will most likely not be great directionally great decisions. They will be okay for now, but maybe will hinder, like they will prevent you from growing a lot more in the future. Okay. And you also have to realize that there's seasons. Okay. There's seasons to everything. Maybe there's seasons where you need to, like, you you just can't see the future, so you need to take decisions and from the situation you are in. But once you are hesitating between both, because if you are in a situation where you know you have to get out of, you're not thinking of the future. You're like, you want to get out of this situation, that's it. Okay. But when you hesitating between, okay, should I take the decision according to now or the future, it means that there's a possibility, like you see what decisions you could take according to the future. And usually taking that decision is best, because you take like better long term, you take decision better when you think long term. So that's my take on it.
Yes, I agree with everything you said. I also take decisions based on the future, because I think when you have the vision, at least you know where you're going. Because if you take decision on now, like the situation now, okay, today is fixed, but what we will do tomorrow? If you don't have like the vision of like knowing, okay, I'm taking this decision based on where I'm going, you don't know where you're heading. If you just take decision like, okay, today I take this decision, more tomorrow, next decision, where are you going? You don't know. So if you take decisions based on the future, I think it's more clear where you're heading, and that's the most important thing. The most important thing is knowing where you're going, and knowing where you're going means knowing what decisions I have to do, I have to take now, and what are the best decisions for me now to get there. At least you have a goal, you have a vision, you have a plan. So that makes it easier for you to know now, okay, I need to be doing this, I need to prioritize this, I have to cut off that, I have to no, because I know that I want to get there. So I think that's the for me personally, that's the best way of taking decisions.
Yeah, and I want to add something before we get on the next one, is the decisions that are the best for us in the future are usually not the best for us in the situation that we are in. They are usually hard decisions. Okay. And we just have to be honest with ourselves. If you know you are trying to like get in shape, build muscle, or lose weight and things like that, but you keep on. It's okay to like, you can, you know, let, you have to be aware. The only thing is you have to be aware of the decision that you're taking. If you decide to eat the entire um like the entire cake, you decided to do it, okay? If you do it and you know intentionally that this is not going to help me in the future, but you still do it, you can only blame yourself, okay? But when you think of in according to the future, it's hard. Like that, you want the cake, you know. But if you think long term, you'd be like, nah, the future me will thank me later for not eating the cake, okay? But it's okay. But you have to be like, you can't be always, because I will be. Let's put it like this. I would be lying to you guys if I say, oh, I'll never eat, like, I like chocolate, goddamn it. So you know, sometimes I treat myself, you know, but I'm aware that even though I treat myself, it's still not going to help me in the future. Okay, I am aware. I won't be lying to myself in the future. Be like, oh no, I can't get to my goals. No, I decided to take those decisions back then. This is the consequences. So
True. Where are we? Bruce said, I really want to ask from the part of changing behavior, you talked about keep trying. So I'm curious about the driving force that motivates individuals to persist. Consistency indeed poses a significant challenge. So I'm eager to explore what keeps people pushing forward despite their obstacles. I
yeah,
think it's the vision. I don't know for you.
yeah. I think when you have a one of the most like the hardest thing is to get that vision, because when you have that vision, there's a lot of things that come, like, not second nature, but that comes along with it. For example, again, with the PTG, the goal that we have with PTG, the goal, like the vision is so big, so huge, and like there's so much that will also, I'm aware that I will have to, like, I have to give up in order to get there. And there's also basically, like, I have no like I have no plan B. Like this is just it, you know. And that's why I feel like when we get through obstacles, things like that, like we don't see obstacles as and Sephora talked about that in the training, huh? But seeing things not as wall but as roadblocks. And so when obstacles present that comes our way, we are like, well, we have to get over it. Like, this is, like, there's no way we're not getting to the vision. So how can we get past that obstacle? That's it. It's not like, oh, this is, I don't think it will come to a point where we're gonna be like, okay, this is too much, quote unquote, because like I have nothing else. Like, what else is possible? Like, I'm not gonna give up. So I must get over it and that obstacle. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's really finding that vision that moves you inside, and also, to be truly honest, is also not having um at least what works for me is not having like backup plans, like plans where I'm like, well, if that doesn't work, then at least, like, if that doesn't work, then I'll go ahead and do this. I think I'll be fine. No, like, if that doesn't work, I have to make a wait. I have to make it work. That's it. There's not, if that doesn't work, then no, that has to work. And how do I make it work? That's it. So I
Yeah, I
hope
agree. I agree. Moran said, I was wondering if you guys can talk about how to let go of friendship that drain us. We'll definitely talk about that. That's very important. We'll talk about how to choose the right surroundings and why it's important, and also about like the whole thing about being in community, why it's important and everything. So we'll definitely talk about that.
yeah, we'll make a training on that for sure.
Yeah. If you have a lot of things to do, how do you know which one is priority? Yeah, priority just means which one is most important. And if you feel like everything is important to you, you need to just start somewhere. So if I have a million things to do and I'm like, oh, where do I start? I don't know. Just pick one thing, start doing that. Get that thing done, go to the next one. Keep going and you'll get everything done. Maybe not in one day, maybe it will take multiple days, maybe you'll get you at some point you get tired, but as long as you do one thing every day, you keep going, you choose one thing that like is the most important, as in like for example deadline. If you have something that you have to do by next week and something else that you have to do by next month, you know that you have to do first the thing that you have to do for next week, and so on. So prioritize the time deadline, but just work on everything little by little, and then you'll get there. And if also you feel like you have too much to do, it's maybe time also to rethink like, do I maybe have too much things on my plate? Because you can add things to your plate, but you can also remove. You don't have to be scared to remove things. It's important. It's also part of the learning process. Learning that, okay, does this serve me right now? No, it really doesn't. Does it serve me in the future? Do I need this? Is this really that important? No, remove it. Make space to get first the key things done that are most important to you. Get that done, and then you can add things, but don't overload and be like, oh, I have too much work now, I don't do anything. No, you can take things out off of your plate. You don't have to worry about other people or whatever. Just don't be afraid to take things off of your plate, and when you're ready, you'll be in a season when, okay, I'm good now, I can add something, then you add something. But it's like there's no need to overload your plate and then do nothing because you have too much to do. So that's my take on that. I don't know if you have anything to add.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think I think we will have to make an entire training on that because removing things, like I've also learned that everything that we have, even possessions like material things, has energy. And the more things we have, the more things we like, the more things we add in our life, the less energy and focus we have. So let's say you have a so this is an example for me because I like cars, but let's say I like cars, okay? So I have nice cars, okay? If I end up having too much of it, then it becomes actually it becomes painful kind of, because I'm like, well, now I have to add another. First of all, taking decisions is not easy, but making like having a lot of things makes take decisions even harder. And so by removing things in your life, okay, that are not serving your purpose, your vision, because mostly if you have a lot of things, you have to think, okay, is this or all of those things that will help me, or is it things that people put in my plate on my behalf? So let's say someone told you to do this, and then you added that, but does that serve you? You have to ask yourself that. And when you remove it, it actually brings you more peace, more focus, more discipline, because you just have you don't have a lot of other things to do. Therefore, you can be focused, and you have your priorities right. And so, yeah, it's important, very important to remove things
Mhm.
before you think of even adding something. Could be habits, it could be anything, So the less things that you have, the better you'll be able to make decision, and the peaceful you will be. Um, the more peaceful you'll be when you make that decision, like the most certain.
Yes, I agree. Okay, next one. So I think this question goes to Sophie. I think she meant me. It's Sephora, but it's okay. You're a
Hmm.
law student, if I'm not wrong. So I wanted to ask if it's okay to do other courses aside or maybe work. Because for me, I think it's really hard. Maybe it's because I'm still new or something. It's like when I try to get involved in other things, I fail, yet I don't want to be involved in one thing. I don't know. Maybe you can advise me. What I'd say is, um, like being a student is already a full-time job. Like every teacher, every person says being a student is a full-time job. So you have to know yourself You have to know your method of learning. Are you someone that needs to put in the hours, needs to read things 1000 times, go to courses, reread? Like, are you someone that needs to put a lot of time into learning, or are you someone that just go to the classes, you read, you just like study like 1 month before the exam season, you do the exams and you pass? Or you're something that have, or you someone that have to put, that has to put like a lot of time into learning? So that's one thing. You have to know yourself and you have to know, what is my way of learning? Can I learn more effectively? So that's the second thing. The second thing is knowing, okay, this is my way of learning. This has been my way of learning since I started school. But can I try another method that will cost me less time and that will be as effective, if not more? So you have a lot of ways of learning. You have, I don't know if you know the method of like active recall. Like, there's a lot of ways you can learn that will cost you less time, but that are more effective. If you want, we can talk about some like learning, like ways of learning more effectively, or we can send you videos, whatever. You can reach out to us and we'll talk about it for sure. But that's the second thing. And then the third thing is trying. So you try, so you know, like, okay, I have tried this effective method. I done everything, and I try to do things beside school and projects and everything, and I still fail. Maybe take a step back, go back full into learning, but you have to also be like aware of, like, is it really me, like, do working, or me doing this other thing, or is it just me being negligent? Because maybe you think, okay, it's just me because I worked, that's like caused me to have less time and then I failed. But what did you do when you didn't work? Did you like make sure that you were up to date with school, or did you let school a bit go and you went too much maybe into work, or too much into whatever you're trying to do besides school? But that's also important. You have to assess everything, not just think, okay, I had to work, so that means if I fail school is because of that. You really need to think, like, did I do it efficiently? Did I were there not other factors that caused me to fail? Maybe is it really just the work? Because I would advise you to really try everything, because school is important, of course, but it's important to do other things besides that, to not make school your whole life. Because being in community like this, learning besides what they teach you in school is very important, because school will not teach you everything, like especially like actual life principles. So it's important to do something, activity, work, join a community, have a hobby, whatever. It's really important for your self growth, also not just your intellectual growth, but also your self growth, like growing as a person, becoming a better version, becoming more like knowing more basic life principles. It's also very, very important, I think, for now and for the future. So I'd say to do. First, knowing yourself. Second, think like, okay, how can I learn more efficiently? And third, do the thing. Try, go work, see what the results are, reassess. Was it the work? Was it something else? Like, do that process over and over again, and I think you'll find balance in that. So yeah, that's my advice on it. I don't know if you have anything to add.
Me,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a good student, so you know. Yeah, you answered. You said everything for real, for real. Like usually we say, "Oh, because I'm doing this," but what are you really doing when you have the time to like work on school things? Because
Mm-hmm.
that's my thing. Like I'll always have a lot of things going on, but I'm also aware that when I have free time, I also don't take the time to go and make that study. So that's something I try to focus on this year as well to finish. But and also to maybe I think it's definitely not the question she asked, but something that really helped me this year is try to find like now that you know Like when you have access to quality information and you change your behavior, you actually learn. This year, what helped me like passed my exams was that in everything I was trying to I was forced to study first of all, okay, because I had exams and things like that. Because I was forced to study, at first you don't want to, things like that, but when you start to be like, oh, well, I'm forced either way, I have to do this, so what can I actually learn from it? Because you're not going to learn, like everything that you have to retain is not going to be useful, but maybe you're going to stumble on one sentence, or like one formula, or like something you can actually take from that, from what you are learning in school, and implement in your own life, or like something that you think will help you in the direction that you're taking. Okay. um like example, this year I had, finances, marketing, things like that, and even history. Okay, history, I used to hate history, even though it was economic, like a history of, the economics. And this year I was like, well, I'm forced to do this anyway, so let me maybe try, and then maybe I'll learn something. When I was going into that, I was trying to make it useful for me now. And because I was trying, like, um intentionally trying, I was able to take away things I didn't take away from the course before. I read the same things, but because I was intentional with it, I was able to be like, oh, that's interesting, okay, that's why this is happening now, things like that. And so, yeah, it's definitely not what you asked, but I just wanted to say that. So I think
Okay.
the
Yeah.
last one is, I would like to request something on getting things done. Is it I don't think that's your question, is it? Or you want to?
Just like a training. Oh, a training
Oh,
on
okay.
how to get things done. Yeah, we'll definitely do that. That kind of aligns with prioritize and stuff like the thing I talked about, the matrix I made.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that definitely. Thank you for sending requests. Keep going if you have other requests. So we know what to talk about next in the next training. But the next one, I have an idea. I won't tell you guys yet, but you guys gave me a good idea.
Amazing, amazing. I mean, we still have like our 4 minutes, so if anyone else has a question, it was really helpful. Thank you. Thank
You're
you. Thank you.
welcome.
Welcome. Like I said, we're gonna give you access to the document when this recording goes out. It will be in the school platform. For any request, please try to request it in the school community platform. On WhatsApp, y- like there's a challenge going on right now where we try to like focus on our sleep and our wake up time. So that's the first challenge. It's a great way to kick things off this year. Make the WhatsApp and the school community platform yours. Is your places to like express, learn, ask for support, things like that, share knowledge and all of that. I think that's it. We appreciate you all for coming today. And yeah, see you
Have
on
a
the next training.
nice, yes.